the staple of consistency within the AFC North, that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. 17 years under Mike Tomlin, never a losing record, never less than 8 wins.
You add Patrick Queen there over from your division rival. You take a look at that offensive line, which does have some question marks, but still a decent wide receiving core that they have, a running game that has Najee Harris, and a quarterback that's been there, done that.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup? What you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
He talked about Major League Baseball and its rule, or actually its relationship with sports betting and gambling.
Integrity is the foremost concern, and a lot of people are questioning that given all the scandals, right? There's Mercano, there's Pat Hoberg, one of the best umpires in MLB, suspended right now. We don't exactly know what he did, but he's been disciplined, and he hasn't umpired a game this year.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
Your mustache is falling.
Mustache is falling off. It's got to go. Skeen's got another strikeout that I don't want to take. As soon as I take it off, they're going to give up a run. I'm trying to keep it on until he comes out of the game. It's all over the place. Come on. I'm superstitious.
He's got 10. He's got 10 Ks.
He's cruising. Wow.
They pulled Skeens, by the way.
Yeah, they pulled him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Ferrall has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast.
All right, Carver High. We're going to hit these baseball games tonight. A huge night to make money, and there's some great games and great series going on. Even though the Yankees stink, it's always good when the Yankees and Red Sox hook up. The Dodgers and Astros, Pirates and Diamondbacks has huge implications. So there's good baseball everywhere.
There is good baseball everywhere. There's no question about that, Scotty. And why don't we start with the matchup of the team that, as of today, would have the number one seed in the National League, the Philadelphia Phillies, against the number one team in the American League, the Cleveland Guardians. How about that? In Philadelphia, kicking off a weekend series. Ben Lively and Christopher Sanchez will get things going tonight. Minus 190 for the Phillies, plus $1.55 for Cleveland, and a flat 8.
I think Sanchez has been great. The low ERA, made the All-Star team. Tons of innings, tons of strikeouts. I like him on the run line at plus 105. I'm laying the 1.5. And the reason I'm doing it is because I don't deny Lively's good, but I think the Guardians have been scuffing lately. They won a game the other night, 2-1. It was the first time they, won a game in a couple weeks that mattered. They're just not playing good baseball right now. And, the Phillies are a tough team to beat, and to play them at the bank and you're not on all cylinders firing, give me the Phillies run line it, and I'll take the over.
The Twins are one of those teams trying to chase down Cleveland in the AL Central. They are going to be in Detroit this weekend. Pablo Lopez goes for them tonight. Montero goes for the Tigers, minus 185 for Minnesota, plus $1.50 for Detroit, and a 7.5.
I can't believe it's a 7.5 with these two guys. I mean, Lopez's ERA is almost at 5. Montero's almost at 6. I think the Twins, Lopez goes in there and beats them and controls them tonight. Montero's a mess. And I think Minnesota, can catch. I told you that. I think they can catch Cleveland.
And Detroit, by the way, one of their guys who's had a huge year, Riley Green, of course, went to the All-Star game for them. They placed him on the IL just now. 10 days, hamstring strain. So Detroit going to be without one of their best bats for the next week and a half.
And let me say this. I think that the guy that they're going to trade is Flaherty, not Skubal. I mean, they'd be stupid to trade Skubal. And Flaherty's turned his season around. He's actually pitched really well. And I know that teams have their eyes on Flaherty.
If I were them, I wouldn't trade Skubal. I know that. Skubal's the type of guy that you keep around, especially when he has a couple more years of control.
He's like Verlander when he was young with the Tigers, honestly.
You build around him. You're trying to get better. That's supposed to be the anchor of your rotation for years to come, not somebody that you trade away. The Reds are in Tampa against the Rays. Nick Lodolo against Shane Baz tonight. -120 for Tampa, even money for the Reds, and a 7.5. I can't figure that one out either, Scotty, the 7.5 for this game. I think both these guys are going to get lit up.
Yeah, well, look, Lodolo's been flat out one of Cincinnati's best pitchers, so I think they have a shot to win this game tonight, and that's why it's a pick-em. I'll take Lodolo and the Reds at -110.
And I didn't get this in for the lion's share for Tater Time today because I wasn't sure if he was going to be back or not. But Yandy Diaz, who I told you is back for Tampa, 5 for 7 with a homer off Lodolo in his career. That's 7-14. So there's a little add-on for you, Scotty, with Diaz tonight. And maybe that'll propel him into the Pirate lineup as well, as long as we can get that one cooking too. San Diego into Baltimore. So they were in D.C. the last couple of days. They take the short trip over to Baltimore where Grayson Rodriguez and the Orioles will be waiting for them. Adam Mazur goes tonight for the Friars. -200 for the Orioles, plus $1.65 for San Diego and a flat 9.
Yeah, look, Mazur's ERA's gigantic in the 7s. And look, Grayson Rodriguez is a badass. He's 12-4. He doesn't lose. I'm on the O's at Camden run line. And, they haven't been playing well either. And they haven't been scoring runs. But I say they bust out tonight against San Diego. And they win for Rodriguez.
Rangers have gotten hot here since the break. Helps when you play the White Sox the last few days. But either way, in Toronto now for the weekend, Andrew Heaney against Kikuchi tonight. -125 for the Jays, plus 105 for Texas, and a flat 8.
Yeah, I'm on Texas. I bet it this morning at -$1.05 for them to beat Kikuchi in Toronto. I saw all I needed to see yesterday. I bet on Tampa in that game. I had a ticket on them, and they won 13-0. The Jays look lifeless. Texas is playing good ball. Give me the Rangers at that -$1.05 price. I can't even believe Toronto's favored.
The Mets, as we know, have been red hot. The Braves have been going in the other direction. They get together again tonight at Citi Field. Season debut, Scotty, for Senga. He returns for the Mets. Of course, he has been out all year. Just made a couple of rehab starts, coming back from the shoulder issues that he had. You have the fisherman Charlie Morton going for the Braves tonight. -135 for Senga and the Mets, plus 115 for the Braves, and a 7.5.
Yeah, I like Senga and his forkball, so I'm going to bet him. I don't think it's too juicy at -$1.35. The Mets are hot right now, and this guy, they've waited for him to come back, and here it is. So, we saw Robbie Ray do it. We saw Kershaw do it. Can we see Senga do it tonight and cash another Mets ticket in Queens? Why not?
The other team in New York, the Yankees, heads up to Beantown to visit the Red Sox this weekend. Nasty Nestor Cortez against Brian Ballo tonight. -120 for the Yankees. Yankees are favored in Boston. Even money for the Red Sox and a 9.5.
You got to be kidding me that they're favored with this hack Cortez pitching. He only wins at home. And I think he's getting lit up tonight in Boston. Bayo has had a phenomenal season. I mean, my God, he's 10-5. And I think the Red Sox pound them tonight. I'm going over the 9.5. I'm going Red Sox, even money on the money line. I don't need to mess around with anything else. I can't believe the Yankees are favored over anyone. Seriously.
I can't either. And Cortez is awful on the road. I mean, you get him outside of Yankee Stadium, he is awful on the road.
We'll do it more in the taters because I like those sea salt, salty taters. But, I mean, right now I'm putting Devers going deep on this guy tonight.
Don't worry, because there's a very good chance you're going to see that name in a few minutes when we do the lock and share.
All right, well, I haven't looked. So if I spoiled the beans, I'm sorry.
Because I could be coming your way in a few minutes on the Lion Share as he's got some good numbers off of Cortez. The Cubs and the Royals tonight in Kansas City. Kyle Hendricks and Brady Singer get that series cooking, where the Royals are minus $150, Cubs plus 125, and a flat 9.
Oh, I am all over Singer. I am all over the run line at plus 135. And I think they're going to score runs in droves on Jimi Hendrix. Give me the Royals, the over, the run line, Singer, home runs galore. You probably got some taters in there, too. Hendricks, honestly, he's given up. I don't know how many home runs he's given up, but he's given up. His ERA is sky high. And I told you he only beats the Cardinals. So I am betting on Kansas City tonight, sure as I'm sitting here.
He's allowed 15 homers in 75 innings this year. And trust me, when I got a pitcher like that, I'm going to go after him for the taters later. So we will go after Kyle Hendricks tonight in Kansas City. All right, we'll come back and we'll do the rest of the late-night games, including the Dodgers are in Houston this weekend against the Astros. We'll talk about that and the rest.
I would imagine if you think the salaries are big now, what kind of salaries are we looking at on an 11-year, $76 billion media rights deal?
This deal puts so much more money in the owners and the players' hands. Folks, this is about national media rights. So you're going to have more national appearances than ever.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Are there any grave issues that would keep Team USA from winning a gold medal?
Should they be minus 430 against the field or whatever the price is right now? Maybe. But am I looking at, hey, Europe as a continent to win the Olympics at plus 500 as an interesting bet? Yeah, because one, they have 5 teams in the Olympics out of the 12.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
The Yankees are desperate. I mean, they can fire hitting coaches and everything else, but it's not working. So I don't know if Cashman really would do that. They seem to be so, tight-knit, but something's got to happen.
A big award or a big prize in the trade deadline sweepstakes would be Vladimir Guerrero Jr., right? Vladdy, put him in the middle of a lineup.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
They scored well. They defended like crap. Last game, they struggled to score. They defended great. We still have not seen the best out of USA basketball. So they've shown they've won different ways. They still should win absolutely the gold medal. But they're playing with fire a little bit with their play, especially when you get to the medal round and it only takes is one game to lose.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, what a series at Minute Maid, Carver High, with the hot Astros taking on the hot Dodgers. And that's going to be some great baseball in Houston this weekend.
Indeed. They'll get it started with Framber Valdez and Gavin Stone tonight. Astros minus 135, plus 115 for the Dodgers. I think this maybe is only the second or third time this year, Scotty, where you're getting plus money on the Dodgers in any game. 8.5 is the total for this one.
I got to tell you, I mean, it's such a great matchup with Stone and Valdez. And I kind of feel for you that plus money on the Dodgers is a decent bet at plus 110. I'd rather take a shot with Stone, who's been pretty magnificent for the Dodgers, all things being equal. I think he's like 9-3. All I know is Valdez is 8-5. I don't deny that the Astros are playing great baseball right now, but at that price, I got to pay $130 for him, or do I go $110 with a guy that can beat him? I'll go $110 with a guy that can beat him. Give me the Dodgers.
The Marlins are in Milwaukee against the Brewers. It'll be Trevor Rogers tonight against Freddie Peralta. Heavy lumber here, minus 225 for the Brew Crew, plus 185 for the Fish, and a flat 8.
Yeah, I had to run line Milwaukee here in this bet because it was so expensive, the price. So I can live with laying the 1.5 at minus 110 and the over. Rogers stinks.
Yes, he's not very good at all. Mariners and the White Sox in Chicago this weekend. Kirby's Dreamland. George Kirby goes for Seattle. Drew Thorpe goes for the White Sox. Minus 175 for Seattle, plus $1.45 for Chicago, and a 7.5.
So I bet this this morning, and I bet it at run lined it minus $1.05 on the run line with Seattle. I did make that bet this morning with Kirby's Dreamland over Thorpe. And I actually think it's going to be, another rough weekend for the White Sox. Seattle has to go in there and pounce on them. Anyone that plays them. Yesterday, we talked about the Royals. They play the Cubs, then they play the White Sox. They got to beat these teams because they both stink. I don't care what anybody says. I think the Cubs stink.
Cubs stink indeed. Nationals and the Cardinals in St. Louis. Mackenzie Gore and Sonny Gray. Minus 185 for the Redbirds, plus 150 for the Nats, and a 7.5.
Yeah, I hate that big price on Gray. So I would run line it at plus 130 if I could get it through. I think they can. I think they can beat Gore. I think they can score against Gore. But listen, I'll be honest with you. Obviously, I think Sonny Gray is their best pitcher. But what I saw in Pittsburgh was a team that was struggling to score runs. The Pirates beat them in that series. When do the Pirates beat the Cardinals in a series ever? Besides never. Okay. And then the thing that worries about, me about that whole scene is they go there in, I think, September. 4 games at Busch Stadium in September. The Pirates have to go. And I guarantee you in September, the Cardinals will be hitting, even though right now they're not. You know that team. We've always talked about them. They always end up in the playoffs. They always end up being a team that matters in the end. So I would think when it matters most in September, they'll be hitting. They're not hitting right now, so I'm concerned about this bet on the run line tonight. But if you hit it, it'd be a plus 130 burger.
A's and the Angels again in Anaheim. Carson Fulmer, who for the Angels, and Paul Blackburn returns. He has not pitched since May. He comes off the 60-day IL off his foot injury. This is a pick'em now, minus 110 both ways, and a big fat 9.5. Let's go over again.
I just look, Blackburn, the Pirates back. That's just all I need to know. And then the bats, the A's bats are just flat out better. I'm on Oakland and the Pirate. Blackburn, my man.
Speaking of the Pirates, they are in Arizona, as we mentioned earlier, against the Diamondbacks. Louis Ortiz and Zach Gallen tonight, minus 175 for the Snakes, plus 145 for the Buccos, and an 8.5.
I mean, look, the stones that I got on me to take Ortiz at plus 140 and the Pirates to upset Gallon of Milk. The stones on this guy. Look, if you're going to be for real, if you're going to be legit, Ortiz has pitched very, very well for the Pirates. No one talks about him because they talk about Skeens and Helen Keller. But my God, my man is 5-2 with a 2.5 ERA. He has been great. A 1.11 whip. He's got 59 strikeouts. The guy's been good. He's got 21 walks. Relatively low with the walks. Look, The other day, they got a great 5-6 inning shutout performance from Martin Perez. Why can't I get Ortiz to steal the first game and upset Gallen tonight in the desert? Give me the Pirates. Clear the decks.
Wow, little buccos clearing the decks tonight out in the desert. I love it. And finally, the Rockies are in San Francisco against the Giants. Kyle Freeland and Kyle Harrison are the starters tonight. Minus 175 for the Giants. Plus 145 for the Rockies and a flat 8 total.
I like the over in this game. I like the Giants run line, plus 118. Harrison has been better than Freeland. Harrison, a 3.80 ERA. Freeland's almost around 6. Give me the Giants in Oracle. They're certainly a different team when they play at home, aren't they?
They are. Tough place to hit homers, but we're going to try to get one there tonight when we get to the lion's share with the Giants and the Rockies out in San Francisco. There you go, Scotty. Everybody in action tonight in Major League Baseball. We do have a little bit more baseball to do in a few minutes. We'll get to the lion's share, and we will do the taters for tonight as well. But we'll come back, and we will start to get into all of the football that we have, and we have a lot of it today. We're going to try to get through as much of it as we can, and we will start when we come back with the Cowboys and Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott and the drama that always turns there for Dallas. We'll do that.
So as far as the wild cards, the Padres have the last wild card. Cards are half game back. Diamondbacks 1 back. Pirates 1.5 back. And then the last AL is Royals with the Red Sox 1 back. Seattle 3.5 back.
I would imagine if you think the salaries are big now, what kind of salaries are we looking at on an 11-year, $76 billion media rights deal?
This deal puts so much more money in the owners and the players' hands. Folks, this is about national media rights. So you're going to have more national appearances than ever.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Are there any grave issues that would keep Team USA from winning a gold medal?
Should they be minus 430 against the field or whatever the price is right now? Maybe. But am I looking at, hey, Europe as a continent to win the Olympics at plus 500 as an interesting bet? Yeah, because one, they have 5 teams in the Olympics out of the 12.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The Yankees are desperate. I mean, they can fire hitting coaches and everything else, but it's not working. So I don't know if Cashman really would do that. They seem to be so, tight-knit, but something's got to happen.
A big award or a big prize in the trade deadline sweepstakes would be Vladimir Guerrero Jr., right? Vladdy, put him in the middle of the lineup.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
They scored well. They defended like crap. Last game, they struggled to score. They defended great. We still have not seen the best out of USA basketball. So they showed they've won different ways. They still should win absolutely the gold medal. But they're playing with fire a little bit with their play, especially when you get to the medal round and it only takes is one game to lose.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High, we turn the corner and get back into football.
We do turn the corner and get back into football. We have a lot of training camp stuff to get to. And, of course, yesterday, the Cowboys had their annual start of training camp State of the Union with Jerry and Stephen Jones. And you had Mike McCarthy up there not saying much and just shaking his head up and down. Let me give you some of the highlights first. Steven actually now, Scotty, is the one that gives you like the actual information. He talked a lot about the contracts. He talked about how, listen, it's easy for Minnesota to pay Justin Jefferson $35 million because they're not paying a quarterback. I know Lamb wants that money, but it's hard to give him that money. He also said Parsons and Lamb want to be the highest paid non-quarterbacks in the league. So a very tough situation for him. Jerry, on the other hand, gets to do stuff like this. The 400th training camp in a row. Him and the Cowboys are all in, Scotty. Here we go.
I'm all in. I'm all in. Sometimes being all in means you narrow. You remove the months out here that are in the future. And you narrow it down to where all we're talking about is right now in the next playoff season. And that's it for everybody. We're all in. We're all in. It's all right there. Let's okay. We all got some things out here in the future, another 2 or 3 years on contracts, all that stuff. Let's all get in here. Zero right now in this. Dak's got his year. Contract, let's focus right here. We all got a lot on the line for that playoff game. A lot of it. So you've got to understand a weird way of looking at it a little bit.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that was, that reminded me of Biden. Like, honestly, I'm sitting here, what is he saying? Like, I don't know. Here's the deal. They lose more than anyone now in the playoffs. Have you ever seen anything like it? Have you ever seen a team that, cruises to the playoffs and then gets their ass beat every time they play a playoff game? That game against Green Bay was so ugly. I mean, it was, I think, the worst loss in Dallas history. It's worse than losing Super Bowls to the Steelers. It really is. And they've beaten the Steelers in the Super Bowl. But the bottom line is, when is the last time, 25 years? It's crazy how long it's been. It's longer than 25 years since they've won. So anything he says is fluff to me, and he's always just talking and doing interviews, and every week he does radio shows, and he's the face of the franchise. I get it. He writes the checks, but he's getting to the point where, it would appear to me that he's signing them, but I think Steven's doing the deals, and Steven's really running the team. And Jerry's a figurehead, and they don't even let McCarthy talk. And I think at some point, I know no one ever wants to hear it, but when are they going to stop him? When are they going to stop sending him out there to embarrass the team and do all of his press conferences? He talks after every game. He talks every week on the radio. He's got to be on all these shows. And I actually... I'm mean, so when I say this, I'm as mean as possible. You're too old now, bro. You're not making sense. You're just rambling, and you're just not making any sense at all. We need to put him in the cupboard. Honestly, somebody's got to – nobody loves him enough to tell him that he's turning it into Biden. He really is. And that's just all there's to – I told you this. That once you hit 70, nobody wants you. And he's already 80-something. Nobody even – I mean, no one gives this guy a clue that he's starting to look foolish. No one?
No.
There's no one that has the stones to tell him?
No. No, because then, he'll chop him. I mean, that's it.
He'll fire him.
By Jerry. You got to wait. You don't want to get chopped, so you got to relax there.
Well, they don't win,
we'll hear
so
from
he can
Dak.
keep talking, and they don't win.
I'll play you Dak later. That one I definitely would squeeze in because I thought the Dak was very significant, saying that he's thinking about he's not going to play with the Cowboys his entire career. That's starting to become more and more clear to him, which was very interesting. But we got to do the lion's share. We got to do coach. We got to do a couple of other things, and then we'll get back to the NFL stuff, Scotty, with Dak.
Do you really believe he's going to play on another team? When? When do you think Dak's next year?
I don't know about next year, but I think, maybe another year or two. I think he could be out of there. I think they've had enough.
So you don't think he's getting a new deal at the end of this year? Wow.
as of July 22nd, we start a new deal with a monster distribution platform called SportsGrid, and we'll be live every day on national radio on Sirius XM channel 159, and we will be live on their national television platform every day from 10 a.m. till noon.
Only on SportsGrid.
If this wind, like we have out of the Northwest, was here all week, it would be insane watching these guys play. And if it's going to be a southwest wind, which makes it a little easier as far as the direction of the wind, and the guys will have it a little bit of a break on the back nine. But it is such a fun golf course, one that I really do think tests every single aspect of your game.
Only on SportsGrid.
DeMar DeRozan now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. But that's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is The Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
In Carver High's spare time, he's always playing BetMGM Swing for the Fences, free-to-play game. You don't even have to pay to play. You're just like all in, like Jerry Jones. Play for free, and you can play it once a day. Here's what you do. Play as the batter. Pick an area of the strike zone. Get a single, double, triple, home run, or even a fly out, and you can get all these killer rewards. Now, the reward types include parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, single game parlay boost tokens, bonus spins in eligible casino states, and even bonus bets, my favorite. All rewards expire in 24 hours. So Carver High goes out and plays this game every day. He'll rip a double or a homer. And then he gets the boost token. And then he puts it with the golf, his favorite saying, play it with the golf, whatever the hell he says. And then he triples his money. It's just the most unbelievable thing. Or he'll pair it up in concert with a tater. He'll do a tater at $5.75, boost that, and hit that. And then he's got like the entire month of August golf betting paid off. I mean, it's just constant. The rewards are turning into bundles, stacks. Bands will make her dance. And he knows it. He doesn't like gloating. He doesn't like bragging about all of his side hustle. He just wants to be a talent and a good father. And he wants to mind his own, and he wants to be able to go to the mob bar without interference from people locally. Stay out of his way. Yeah. He wants to go have a beverage. Can he just be left alone with his rewards to get boost tokens and bonus spins and eligible states?
I did get my first homer a couple days ago on that game. Finally got a homer in there, which was nice. And I do use them on homers because they have to be baseball-specific bets off of that Swing for the Fences game. So usually we'll put a couple of the taters together from that night's slate with whatever the reward is on the daily from that game. So we're going to try to do that tonight because I got to tell you, I had so many I liked tonight on a Friday night that it was hard for me to narrow it down. I actually went with 7 instead of the usual 6, and there's even a few I left off the board that I kind of like a lot as well. So we're going to try to dip our toe into all of those, Scotty, as we get going. But we'll start here, and that is in Milwaukee. We have the Marlins coming into town with Trevor Rogers. You said it perfectly when you were talking about the game. Rogers stinks. And guess what? Rogers against Rhys Hoskins in his career. Hoskins, 8 for 19 with 3 home runs off of Trevor Rogers. Plus 300 for Rhys. Let's start it off strong in Milwaukee.
I love it. No problem. I'm all in right there. Those are strong numbers. Let's get a 3-1 jack.
Let's get a 3-1 jack. Next, we will go to Fenway Park. I told you that I would go after nasty Nestor Cortez, and sure enough, here we are. First of all, Nestor stinks, especially on the road. He's allowed 19 home runs this year altogether. Rafael Devers in his career. Now, 3 for 14, I know doesn't sound great, but 2 of the 3 hits are home runs. So he's connected on some long balls off of Cortez. Here we go, and you're giving me 475 for Devers tonight, which against the Yankees, as you know, Scotty, really should always be in like the 2s because he destroys the Yankees. So 475 for Devers here at Fenway.
I can't believe the price. I really can't. The way he hits against New York and that sandbox they play in. I mean, you think it's easy hitting a home run in the porch in Yankee Stadium in right field. You can hit a home run here. You know, that monster, you can call it whatever you want. Balls fly over that thing like they're being sucked out by airplane engines. And then right field is just as easy. It's honestly, that shot to left is nothing. All you have to do is get it up in the air. How many times have we seen people hit shots over that wall out of that stadium, all the way out of the stadium? Devers at 475 is a joke.
And look, I don't mind Tyler O'Neill at plus 360 tonight. Romy Gonzalez has a homer off of Cortez in his career, and he's plus 500. And Rob Refsnyder, listen to this. Refsnyder 6 for 13 off of Cortez in his career. He doesn't have a homer, but he's hit it off that wall a bunch of times. He's plus 750 tonight at BetMGM. If you want to try to get Refsnyder.
Rag up, Refsnyder. Rag it up.
So we'll see. Next, to Chicago. The Mariners are in town. Drew Thorpe on the mound. As we've said with a couple guys, we got some bad pitching going tonight. I put Thorpe in that category. And Cal Raleigh, you know, Josh Naylor's our Tuesday night guy, Scotty. Cal Raleigh's been our Friday night guy. Plus 260 for Cal tonight in the Windy City.
That's why that number's so low, because they know what he does on pain-free Fridays. He jacks home runs. I love that bet as well.
Pain-free Fridays, he takes care of business. Next, we'll go to Kansas City. I told you that I was going to go after Kyle Hendricks one way or the other. He's given up 15 homers in 75 innings already this year, and you're facing a team that has been killing it lately with the long ball. I'm going to go with Salvi Perez at plus 350 as my top choice, but Bobby Witt plus 425. Vinny P I saw at 6-1 at plus 600. I like the big boppers on the Royals tonight, Scotty, against Hendricks, but we'll highlight Salvi.
I like Salvi, Witt, and Vinny P, all of them. Let's go.
Let's go indeed. Next, we'll go to Baltimore. Padres and the Orioles tonight. This Adam Mazur, Scotty, that's going for the Padres, he stinks too. A 7.8 ERA. He's allowed 5 homers in 31 innings. And you got a team that destroys right-handed pitching, especially at home. And Anthony Santander, he's got 28 homers this year. He got 4 in the last week. He has been red hot. Let's go. And 4-1. I expected to see this as well in the low 3s this morning when I woke up, Scotty. But 4-1 for Santander. Let's go and get it.
I mean, he jacked one yesterday. I'm surprised it's not 275, 280, to be honest with you. I can't believe it's 4-1. I love that play.
I'm going to give you one more in that game as well. Now, look, I know Grayson Rodriguez very good. Manny Machado back in Baltimore tonight, and he's plus 700. Grayson Rodriguez is good, but he gives up some homers. You know, so I don't mind Machado at plus 700 as well in that Padre-Oriole game.
The Remember Me blast.
The Remember Me blast are always good. Next, this guy hit for us last night, and we're going back to the well. Brent Rooker, 9 homers in July, 3 in the last week. Deep shot last night. Angel pitching stinks. Plus 300 for Rooker.
It's like he's hitting one almost every night now.
It's the Butler, too. I mean, the Butler, it seems like he's hitting one every night also.
I like playing both of them.
I don't mind playing both of them either, and I probably will. And finally, the big ball of the night. and I really can't figure it out. And I know it's hard for me to get away from this guy, Scotty, but they just aren't moving the numbers yet on Brenton Doyle, who's got 10 homers in July. He's got 2 this week. 825 for this guy. And I get it. Harrison's been okay for the Giants, but he's a lefty and Doyle destroys lefties. Give me this at 825 tonight for Doyle, Scotty. That's the big ball of the night.
Oh, if you hit that at 8.25, I am just gonna pour booze on my face and set myself on fire. Give me that.
Let's
8.25.
And look, you could take all the Giant guys against Freeland as well. Freeland stinks. Soler, Ramos, Chapman. You can line the Giant right-handed hitters up against the lefty Kyle Freeland tonight, and I could expect maybe some bombs.
Now, you think Chapman would hit some more home runs for as much money as they paid to get him to go to San Francisco? He doesn't hit enough home runs for me.
He has not. So we've given you a lot of guys. Like I said, we like a lot of guys here tonight, but the main attractions, Hoskins, Devers, Cal Raleigh, Salvi Perez, Santander, Rooker, and Brenton Doyle for the big ball, Scotty. Let's go. And hey, I'll tell you this because you've been on this guy a lot lately too. Lindor's got, I think, a couple homers off of Morton in his career for Atlanta, and he's been scorching hot, Francisco Lindor. So that wouldn't stun me either.
The same court, Lindor, McNeil, Nimmo, Alonso, they're all hitting home runs, so you can bet on any of them, and one of them will catch. Guaranteed.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM.
As of July 22nd, we start a new deal with a monster distribution platform called SportsGrid, and we'll be live every day on national radio on SiriusXM channel 159, and we will be live on their national television platform every day from 10 a.m. till noon.
Only on SportsGrid.
Where are you at in terms of a starting lineup? What you want to see from Team USA?
I think he'll get guys involved, and then there's your lockdown defender at the point guard, the point of attack, right? I do like Curry. I would then go with Ant. I like Ant over Booker. I think if you look at the way the Canada game was, they looked kind of slow starting, and then they kind of got rolling.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
He talked about Major League Baseball and its rule, or actually its relationship with sports betting and gambling.
Integrity is the foremost concern, and a lot of people are questioning that given all the scandals, right? There's Mercano, there's Pat Hoberg, one of the best umpires in MLB, suspended right now. We don't exactly know what he did, but he's been disciplined, and he hasn't umpired a game this year.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The staple of consistency within the AFC North, that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. 17 years under Mike Tomlin, never a losing record, never less than 8 wins.
You add Patrick Queen there over from your division rival. You take a look at that offensive line, which does have some question marks, but still a decent wide receiving core that they have, a running game that has Najee Harris, and a quarterback that's been there, done that.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, Coach James Young is with us to talk about the Olympic basketball that's going to be going on. And, of course, you can follow Coach on X at Coach Young NJ. And I think you'll dig it. You can catch his Betting Above the Rim podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He was coaching today, summer camp, for a bunch of hooligans, 9-year-old hooligans. That'll make you pull your teeth and hair out.
Yeah. You see how much hair I got left, Ferrall?
Yeah.
I told you with them 29 9-year-old boys did to me today. My favorite part of camp, when camp was over at noon.
Well, what are they like? I mean, what do you do with them? Just fundamentals?
Fundamentals, a lot of games, 3-on-3, 4-on-4. Try to teach kids the right way, Ferrall. Obviously you look at this country and it's not a lot of fundamentals. I was talking to a good buddy of mine, Jason Crail, who played at Monmouth University. I trained his kid, one of the top, incoming 8th graders in the state of New Jersey. And he told me, my kid played 50 AAU games and 30 practices. And this is what's wrong with this country. We'll see it in the Olympics. We have the athleticism. We have this, but our skill set, our fundamentals aren't as good or as clean as some of the European teams that, honestly, Ferrall, this, value development and develop practice time more than gameplay.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. You and I have had this conversation. I did the AAU circuit last summer, and it was a pain in the neck. It is just overwhelming. 45 games, practice 6 days a week, and games. You have 1 day off a week. You play 3 or 4 games a week. Tournaments on the weekends. Saturdays and Sundays. I don't even know what day you get off. Monday, I don't even remember. All I know was it was a nightmare. And all they did was, you went to some of the games. They got slaughtered against really good competition. And what I see is just all they care about is playing tons of games.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's running around with their head cut off. And nobody's good at the things that make you a good basketball player that you're talking about, the fundamentals. Do you think that AAU has gotten out of control with it's just a money grab. They make so much money, but no one cares about playing 50 million games. For what reason?
No, it's a money grab, and I'm going to take a second, and I'm going to go after, the WBCA, which is the Women's Basketball Coaches Association. Obviously, I was I was a member when I was a coach. But to think about this, folks, in the AAU circuit in July, and I have a couple of kids, that I know in the area, the Liggio sisters, Katie and Tessa, and then obviously the 2 kids I trained, Sophie Smith and Eddie Nemchuk, are down at the USA basketball event. Think about this, folks. These kids had to fly or drive to Louisville, the tournament, on a Thursday. Play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Drive back or fly back Monday. Turn around and either go to Atlantic City or Chicago and do it again. Fly out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And now the NCAA wants to get their hands involved in the pot. And Sophie and Addie and the Liggios are now down in South Carolina for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You wonder why a lot of these kids get injured, but you also wonder why a lot of these college coaches sometimes make mistakes on the recruiting trail, Ferrall, because we're overtired too. They're doing 12, 14-hour recruiting days, 4 or 5 days in a row, turn around, do it all over again. A lot of mistakes were made. We got to get back to developing kids fundamentally and not worried about the game and the bottom dollar.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I think it's her, Chop's benefit is playing high school ball and playing that schedule and practicing every day and playing that schedule. It's not playing 50 games all over the East Coast in the summer. All right, the U.S. men's first game is against Serbia on Sunday. How do you think they're going to handle Joker and Bogeyman and Jovic?
I think they're going to go ahead and get it done. I'm not concerned about the USA in regards to scoring. It's about their defense. So as you get closer to game time on Sunday, if you want to try and get the team props on how many points the USA is going to score, that's probably something you'll see on BetMGM closer to the game time. But I'm going to play the game live, Ferrall. The first game they played against Serbia, they're up by 1 at the break. And I think they outscored by 14 and I think 11 points in the second and third quarter. That's how the USA is built. Close early. And then as Steve Kerr subs, he finds a rhythm. They start to blow it out. I think they do cover the spread, but if you want to play it safe, let the game play the first quarter. It's close. Take the USA in the second quarter to start to open up a lead.
Who are you worried about? Germany, France, Australia, Serbia, Canada? Who worries you the most in this tournament?
To me, it's France. You look at this French team, and they're going to be able to put Wembanyama and Rudy Gobert in that front line. And then you look at a team, also a guy, don't laugh, folks, Evan Fournier, when he plays for the Olympic team, he plays pretty damn good as that kind of sniper kind of shooter. So to me, that's the team I'm really worried about. You could probably look at Evan Fournier to make over 1.5 made threes and minus 155. Same thing with Wembanyama. He's shooting the ball really well going into the Olympics. France is the biggest threat to me to the United States winning the gold.
So what about the ladies' side?
Oh, let me tell you this. Last time they played, they lost 117-109 to the WNBA All-Stars. Folks, they're playing Japan. And quote the great philosopher Charles Barkley, I don't know about Japan, but Japan's in trouble. I think it's down to 19.5. I expect them, Ferrall, to absolutely, ready folks, bludgeon Japan. This should be a team that coming off of that loss, Cheryl Reeve should have this team in a bad mood. You look at the size inside with Asia Wilson and Brianna Stewart, and then you go to the abundance of guards. I like the USA to win their first game and win big. They'll cover the 19.5.
They look good against Germany, the ladies.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they have the two. Listen, it's different than the men. Like the 12 best players in this tournament are all American. So if some of them aren't on, put other ones in. They should roll to the gold medal. It should be just how much they win by each game.
All right, Coach, get a break from those 9-year-olds and watch some Olympic hoops. You're styling. Thanks for coming on Coast to Coast.
I would imagine if you think the salaries are big now, what kind of salaries are we looking at on an 11-year, $76 billion media rights deal?
This deal puts so much more money in the owners and the players' hands. Folks, this is about national media rights. So you're going to have more national appearances than ever.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Are there any grave issues that would keep Team USA from winning a gold medal?
Should they be minus 430 against the field or whatever the price is right now? Maybe. But am I looking at, hey, Europe as a continent to win the Olympics at plus 500 as an interesting bet? Yeah, because one, they have 5 teams in the Olympics out of the 12.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
The Yankees are desperate. I mean, they can fire hitting coaches and everything else, but it's not working. So I don't know if Cashman really would do that. They seem to be so, tight-knit, but something's got to happen.
A big award or a big prize in the trade deadline sweepstakes would be Vladimir Guerrero Jr., right? Vladdy, put him in the middle of the lineup.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
They scored well. They defended like crap. Last game, they struggled to score. They defended great. We still have not seen the best out of USA basketball. So they've shown they've won different ways. They still should win absolutely the gold medal. But they're playing with fire a little bit with their play, especially when you get to the medal round and it only takes is one game to lose.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Why don't we hook up with our buddy Rich Sermonello and find out about some of the hot, young coaching prospects in college football?
Hey, Scott, last week we talked about college football coaches facing the most pressure, hot seat coaches in college football. I'm going to flip to the other side. I want to talk for a few minutes about some of the younger coaches in college football with an opportunity to get promotions either this year or next year. Going to start with 3 head coaches, Scott. Rhett Lashley of SMU coming off a great season in Dallas, 11 wins, won the AAC. Now he's ushering the Mustangs into the ACC. Great opportunity for him to get national exposure. Interesting, Scott, last week we talked about Sam Pittman in Arkansas and the fact that he has to win to save his job next year. Well, Rhett Lashley is a former Arkansas quarterback, grew up in Springdale, Arkansas. So if the Hogs are looking for a coach and Lashley continues to win on the hilltop, that could be a possible marriage. Now, number two, very surprised, Scott, that Jamie Chadwell has not gotten a bigger job. This is the guy who had back-to-back 11-win seasons at Coastal Carolina, put Coastal on the map, finished a few years ago 14th in the country. And then year one at Liberty takes the Flames without their star quarterback to the Fiesta Bowl and another top 25 finish. Won the Conference USA. Love his offense, the RPO, very unique ground and pound type of an offense. So Jamie Chadwell, 47 years old, could be in store for a promotion. And then finally, my favorite head coach, just 40 years old, Alex Golish. I love this story. Kid grew up in Russia at the age of 7 as the Soviet Union collapsed. He and his family left for Brooklyn, eventually settled in Ohio. Never played college football, but went to Ohio State, learned the sport, learned really how to be an elite coach. And then he became a Heupel disciple, coached under Josh Heupel at UCF. Tennessee, was the play caller when the Vols led the country in scoring. And then, the question was, hey, can he be a head coach? Well, year one at South Florida, 7-6, bowl game. Previous 4 years for the Bulls, Scott, just 8 wins. So he's doing a great job at every level. And then quickly, 2 assistant coaches, both 34 years old. I want to bring to your attention Glenn Schumann of Georgia, co-defensive coordinator. Reminds me a little bit of Ferrall. Never played college football, but chose his college based on the head coach there, just like you did with Bob Knight. Well, Schumann went to Alabama simply to learn from Nick Saban. Loved what he did. So he learns from Saban, meets Kirby Smart. Kirby's first hire at Georgia is, I got to have this boy genius at Georgia. Schumann is on the fast track. And then quickly at Oregon, also the age of 34 on the offensive side, offensive coordinator Will Stein. He is in the perfect spot under Dan Lanning to continue to get exposure, quarterback developer, great offensive mind. I think he's a head coach before too long.
Fantastic stuff, Rich. Thanks, buddy. Have a great weekend. Always love his college football insight. We're still jumping back to the NFL, though, Carver High.
Yeah, I have a lot of things that I want to get to. Here, let me finish the Cowboy stuff that we did not finish earlier. This is Dak really admitting for the first time that eventually, down the line, he knows he might not be the Cowboy quarterback forever. Here is Dak Prescott.
It's a two-way street that they have once, I have once. I think I've deserved that, understanding that this is a business. And obviously I want to be here. Talking about growing up, this is where I've become a man. So, but at the end of the day, it's a business. And, when
spit it out.
I'm going to say it. I want to be here, but when you look up, all the great quarterbacks I watched played for other teams. So my point in saying that is that's not something to fear. That may be a reality for me one day, may not be my decision. So that's the freedom that I have is be where your feet are, make the most of it, be confident in yourself, make your team better. I love my teammates. I love that locker room. I love everything about being out here in Oxnard and being a Dallas Cowboy.
I got to be honest with you. I think he'll end up being the most grossly overpaid quarterback in the NFL in history. I think they're going to give him more money than God, and he's got nothing to show for it. When is all this Super Bowl winning going to occur? They're going to give him the most gigantic deal you ever saw, and I'll bet for the life of his ass he can't win a Super Bowl. That's it.
I don't think they're going to give him another deal unless he wins some playoff games this year. I think they're holding out to see if he wins. I think they've had enough of the one-and-dones in the playoffs, and they're going to wait things out with him. I do.
You might be right that he ends up somewhere else, and he does better somewhere else because they don't win. It's not all his fault. I think he actually falls out for them. It's the rest of them that screw it.